Hello everyone and welcome to RVN TV's Off the Bench. My name is Davila, aka Neo Positivity. I'm a life coach and I interview other life coaches. This one is special, but I want to say something first. Being conscious, being aware of yourself will keep you present and keep you from watering the wrong seeds. You know, thinking about the future or the past, watering all kind of seeds. But there's another level. You can elevate yourself to a higher level of consciousness. And that's why I have my guest with me here today, Conscious Life Coach, creator and co-founder of Consciously Awesome, you see it on the wristband, and the author of best-selling book Enchanted One, The Portal to Love. I have with me all the way from Syracuse, New York, Sheila Applegate. Sheila, how you doing today?
Great to be here.
Yes, and today is National Burgundy Day, just in case you guys didn't know. I just made that up. But ConsciouslyAwesome.com is your website, and I want to get into that, but first, give us a little bit of background about yourself. Give us your life resume so people can know, why they should listen to you,
Well, I started out with a master's degree in social work, focusing on clinical children and family therapy. And at the same time, I was learning metaphysics and meditation, energy healing. So after a few years in the field as a therapist, I realized that I felt like I was sitting on my hands and that there's so much more you can do. You can analyze your problems to death, but that doesn't mean they go away.
Yeah.
And I had a whole repertoire of skills that help them go away easily and effortlessly. So I jumped off the mainstream world, and for 20 years I have my own practice, and I was offering spiritual healings and readings and teaching meditation. And as the years went on, I moved more into a coaching style. Because again, the limitations. Someone could come to me for a spiritual reading and I could open up and I could give them an amazing experience in the moment, but then they were left to go out on their own and figure it all out. And my passion is to help everyone live from a state of higher consciousness and to help everyone understand that this is our natural state of being. So now I work as a Consciously Awesome coach.
Consciously Awesome.
And I created a program, a coaching program that really teaches the technique of living from this state of conscious oneness, living in harmony with the world, with each other, navigating our full potential, because as humans we only use like a tiny bit of what we really can do. And so this technique helps everyone to open up to their full potential and to live from that.
Basically tap into a higher source, something different. Now you have a unique approach to how you do things, a little bit different from most other people. Come on, give it to us.
Well, obviously my path here was a little bit different to working in coaching, because I do have the therapeutic clinical background, but I also have access to the non-physical, and who doesn't want that, right?
Yes.
So I have an ability to move up and down my own spectrum of consciousness and to see the bigger picture and the tiniest little thing that maybe someone would overlook. And I use all of those gifts, and I use the energy, and conscious meditation is a technique I also developed along the way that helps people to integrate right in the moment. So I'm not focused on solving people's problems, but giving them the tools to change at the core so those problems don't keep getting repeated.
So as a client, if I was a client, what could I expect, from you as in a session?
We dive in really deep, and every session is a little bit different, obviously, based on the client, but I move in and I start where the client is, and I draw from all these resources. So I may get you talking and you start to tell me a story, and then I jump on a little point that you wouldn't even have noticed because I love the subtleties.
Yeah.
So I go in and I tweak that little subtlety, and then everything opens up as you see something that you didn't realize was happening. But then I also would integrate this conscious meditation technique, which is like a hybrid of meditation and hypnotherapy. So it's alive and active, and I'm following you, and we're actually going in, tapping into an energy bigger than our human selves, and clearing things right in the moment.
So it's kind of like we're walking in darkness, but you're behind me, leading me. you're letting me steer the course, but you're kind of steering it at the same time, and just shedding light on things together.
Yeah, helping you do that, and then teaching you how to turn the light on, because
Yes,
that's
when
the
you're
most
not there.
important,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
want you to be able to do this without me.
No, that's cool. Now, the book, The Enchanted One, The Portal to Love. You had some help writing this book. Two specific people. Why don't you tell me a little bit about those people?
Well, they are non-human people. I like to call them my peeps, but this is where I would use my gift of channeling, which again is just tapping into a higher frequency and to drawing out of all that is the vibration that reflects these beings. So this book is a combination of messages from Mary Magdalene, who is Jesus's beloved on earth. She was, but she had a lot of teachings, and she continues to bring the heart center into our world and to our teaching. And then her spirit guide, when she was here, so we're going like a step up here, was the goddess known by 1,000 names, but also known as Isis. And so it's an Egyptian.
Not the Isis you're thinking about. They stole the name and used it for evil. But Isis, Mary Magdalene's, who she turned to.
Right. So this book is a combination of messages from Isis and Magdalene, and it's interesting because you can see the different vibrations when you're reading them. They speak differently, even though it all comes through me. There's a little different connotation in each one, and then it's my experience of integrating that into my life, because we can receive all these incredible lessons, spirituality, personal development, but if they're not applied, if there isn't a way to apply them, it only helps us for a moment. So I wanted this book to, first of all, I needed to master it before I wrote it. Like, okay, here's some great messages, but they're not useful, really useful, unless we master it. So let me go master it, and then I wrote the book. And so it weaves together my journey of mastering these lessons. And I went through some hard times during that.
But I always say, you know, my life is my resume.
Right.
Because how are you going to teach somebody how to fix a car if your car is broken down? You know what I mean? But we'll be back in a second with more information on the book and talking to Sheila right here on RVN TV. Hello everyone, and welcome back to RVN TV's Off the Bench. I'm Nehemiah Davila, aka Neo Positivity, here with Sheila Applegate, and we are going to dive right back in. Now, the Neo Positivity group is a group of life coaches, alphabetized by their niche. ADHD coach, domestic violence, got all kind of coaches. And I have a new conscious life coach. Sheila Applegate has joined the group, and I always have questions, you know, for my guests. And one of the things that me and her talked about that we really got into and I really wanted to get into is the whole thoughts become things. Why not to simplify it? And she said it in a way the other day that just got me, so give them the goods, give them the goods.
Well, I think that we have in our society a habit of simplifying things. We see something really wonderful and we want to make it really easy for people. But when we do that, sometimes we hurt people. And I think that the thoughts become things movement, not yours, but in general, starting from The Secret and beyond, sometimes when we simplify it, we hurt people, because somebody going through a real struggle and we're saying, well, it's your thoughts, you know, that you're doing this, you're making it, and they're already feeling so broken and hurt. And they're probably maybe trying to push away all their fear and push away any thoughts that aren't supporting them, but they can't do it because it's real. The fear, you know, if you're struggling with an illness or something, that fear is real. If your child is struggling, that's really a struggle. So it's important for us to remember that thoughts are powerful, and I know you get this, when it really creates an instant reaction is when our thoughts and our emotions, because I think emotions are even more powerful than thoughts. So when our emotions are in alignment with that, and then our soul, our spirit, when the energy of the universe aligns, then it's like it happens instantaneously. And that's where we see those miracles. But it's so important for us to honor the fact that it's not about pushing thoughts away. And people who get this right, like you don't push your thoughts away. You deal with them. But we have to tell other people that, because we forget sometimes. We want them to get it right away, but it's so important for them to understand that it's their thoughts and their emotions. So I've got that heart center work. I dive deep in, like, let's explore this emotion so it doesn't have power over us. Then our thoughts can be in alignment with our emotions.
And then it's hard. It's so hard. 60,000 thoughts on average per day per person. It's not easy to keep all of them in check. And that's where I think a lot of people are hurting themselves, because they see thoughts become things. And like I said, that's my biggest challenge as a coach, is people giving up after day 2, because they're not millionaires by day 2, but they're trying it and they're expecting it to be easy. As thoughts become things, I think the right thing, and it pops up, but it's not like that. It's not like that at all. A lot of work that has to be going into it. That's why I said neo-positivity is different from normal positivity. It involves setting alarms for yourself, mental exercises, and being accountable for the negative things you manifest into your life as well as the positive things. So as far as hurting other people and hurting yourself, and like if I was fresh, and when I was fresh, the thoughts become things. I felt like I was doing it right. The negative thoughts just kept on coming, and they will keep on coming as people were naturally negative. And that, it kind of hurt me. So as a conscious awareness coach and all that other stuff, how do you teach people to deal with that ego that steps in and says it's not good enough? When someone's driving in a car and you're not there on the phone, or I'm not there on the phone with them, when they're using the bathroom or watching a commercial and their brain is just running, it's not good enough. You need to do this. You should have done that by now in your life. How do you teach people to deal with that voice? I mean, aside from recognizing it and accepting the fact that you got to accept that it's going to come. It is going to come. You just got to be able to deal with it. Now, I have mental exercises, but you have to remember to do them. You have to remember to stop that scenario 3 seconds in as opposed to 30 seconds in, because 30 seconds into watering a negative seed is 30 seconds into watering a negative seed. So, how do you get to that?
So actually, this is my conscious meditation technique, because in the technique, I train people to be able to consciously shift their attention and their intention from the cells of their body, the physical experience, their emotional, spiritual, crystalline, like ascended self, people like to say, vibrant earth self. It keep going all the way up to alpha and omega, oneness. So we're all of this, right? And our thoughts in every moment, when you talk about those how many thoughts?
60,000 thoughts on average per day.
Yeah, they're happening in all those different levels. So in any given moment, we can be in fear from our lowest survival instinct, or preparing ourselves, because that's what that part of ourself is doing. It's just trying to say, get ready, I want to protect you. And so I don't want you to get hurt, whether it's emotionally or through disappointment or physically. So that is in there, but so are all these other thoughts. The thought that remembers that we're one with God or the universe. The thought that remembers that the universe is conspiring on our behalf, that we're with the flow, that our emotions are more than that fear, that we have love. And so what I teach people to do through this technique is to be able to choose where you place your attention, and this is the key, to place your attention on more than one of those places at once. So yes, I'm feeling fear right now, but I'm also aware of a part of me that's very confident and knows that this is already happening.
Redirecting your thought process, redirecting all that into a new stratosphere. Now, you have a coaching opportunity coming up on January 29th. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I have typically been working with one-on-one in my coaching. I work with a select few people, and we go really deep into this work on a one-on-one basis. But I really want to start 2018 with a bang, and I want as many people as I can get to be able to effectively learn this technique and dive in and transform starting in January. So I am running a group, and it's still personal. There is still 4 one-on-one sessions. Everyone who takes it gets 4 one-on-one sessions with me, as well as 3 probably 4, because I always throw in a bonus, group sessions. And it's not a huge group. I will stop it at 20. Like, I want everyone to experience this in a small, intense energy. I want it to work, right? And to get it to work, it has to be personalized.
Yeah.
But in addition, we go through the Consciously Awesome technique that I developed from all of my years of learning and teaching. And so
tapping into the source.
And tapping into the source, and it teaches you how.
Yeah.
They'll learn how to communicate beyond the physical with whatever word they call spirit guides or loved ones who've crossed over. It's much easier to love on earth when you know that you don't lose people even with death, and that relationship can continue. So we work on that. We work on enhancing our relationships here, our career, freeing ourselves from the limitations so we can accept the financial abundance we deserve.
You tackling it all.
I do. It's everything.
It all.
You leave here with a complete transformation.
That's good. That's good. We're going to take another quick commercial break. We'll be right back here with Sheila Applegate on RVN TV. Hello everybody and welcome back to RVN TV. I'm Neo Positivity here with Sheila Applegate, and we were just talking about the group coaching opportunity that she has coming on January 29th. But afterwards, there's a few more perks involved. Sheila, tell us about those perks.
Well, because like you, I'm dedicated to making this a global transformation.
Yes.
I don't stop at there's the coaching program that helps transform people's lives, but for people who are passionate about it after they take it and they want to also help transform people's lives, I train coaches. So it's an advanced coaching, so you don't have to have a coaching certification already, but you can. It would be more than what you've experienced. And so I train people in the technique itself, and they actually get certified to run the coaching program, Consciously Awesome. And they get to access the same curriculum and run through that with other people. So they start out with a signature program that they get to use. And I teach about the business side of it as well, because we know coaches need to know about business.
Yeah.
You can be an amazing coach, but if you don't know business, right, and conscious marketing. A lot of people, especially people drawn to this, don't feel like marketing is comfortable because it feels like a lie or we're tricking people. But when you love something and you know it helps, there is a way to market that consciously and authentically. So we work on that, and then we create a team. I have already several coaches that I've certified, and we have a team platform. So we join together in the website and videos and blogging, and we support each other. So it helps amplify the impact that you have on the world right from the start.
Now, is that the apprenticeship, or is that something else?
Yes, it's the apprenticeship. So that's the people who want to go on and make this their business as well.
All right, so I want to make this my business. I go to your sessions. I become a coach. What are some of the things that I can expect? Now, I know the answer to this, but I want you to let everybody know. I always ask, what are some of the biggest challenges, or because it could be the same answer, some of the biggest mistakes that you face as a coach with your clients, something that you see most people doing that needs to be corrected, or in order for them to change their lives for the better?
Well, the thing that I think most people do is, well, there's a lot, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot.
There it is.
So, okay, let's start with your first question. What can people expect? They're going to know how to run to go through the steps and help people use the steps that I do, but they're also going to be able to access all those different levels that I talked about, and they're going to be able to facilitate the conscious meditations, that hybrid of meditation and hypnotherapy for their clients. So they're going to have that same access that I have. I said what makes me different is I can access all this other information. So that's what I train to make them do. So we know that they have that insight and the influence. I would say that's where sometimes coaches, they either hit the mark by being too pushy and take over and don't let the client do their own life, or they stay back and they don't want to call them out. One of the things that I'm good at is
you gotta call them out.
You gotta call them out. That's what they hire you for. That's what they want. They could go to a friend and they would say everything's great, but they hire you because they need someone to match them at an equal level and show them what they can't see. So I help with that as well. But then there's also the business side. Like I said before, people think, they get that and they're all ready to go and they're great, and then they think that people are just going to show up at their door and pay them money. so that realizing that my business is also selling this, and that's something that I can do from the same vibration and with the same intent.
It's funny you said that. I always say they say like 99+% of small business fail within the first year. It's because that opening day they didn't make the $1 million that they thought they were going to make, and then every day after that is pretty much like downhill. Like they planted a seed and they just water it and water it and water it. Like, I'm not doing as well as I thought. That only manifests a future where you're saying I'm not doing as well as I thought again. So you gotta stay away from that. You gotta stay away from that.
We have so many stories of overnight success, and we forget to tell people that overnight success comes with years and years of preparing.
Years and years and years.
When the public sees it as an overnight success, the person has already worked very hard.
All right, well, we're coming up on the end of the show. Sheila, why don't you look into that camera right there and give us a plug. Let everybody know how they can find you.
You can find me at consciouslyawesome.com. We have lots of beautiful blogs and videos for you to watch, and you can have a discovery session with me if you're interested in learning more about how to work with me and how to connect with your higher consciousness and live from that state. Remember that life is not meant to be a struggle. It is meant to be magical and awesome, and it's not that hard to achieve that. You just have to shift your attention and say yes to changing the way you think and the way you respond.
That was absolutely perfect. I couldn't have said that better myself. All right, you guys, this has been another episode of Off the Bench. Thank you, Sheila Applegate, for joining us. Go to our website, consciouslyawesome.com. Remember to visit me on neopositivity.com. Go to the Neo Positivity group, whatever kind of coach you need. We got them. Change your life. Thoughts become things. What you focus on the most will grow. So focus on the right things. I'll see you guys next time. Off the Bench, only on RVN TV.